folks. We are green from Daytona, iRacing, RUF, NAGP Challenge. I'm here with Brad Maris. This is a test broadcast. I guess, Brad, we're going to try and hammer out the bugs as we broadcast this first race of the Season 4 NAGP RUF Championship.
Yeah, and though it may be kind of a test broadcast for us, I tell you, it's not going to be a test race for the guys out on track. It's been a couple of very exciting weeks of practice with these guys and getting these events organized. It's going to be a fun championship over the course of about 9 events out here. And I tell you, every one of these guys has got a ton of practice. It's lead to some exciting moments on track and probably some exciting moments for us as well, as we try to get all our iRacing coverage sorted and bringing you the best pictures we can.
Currently on board with Nick Johnston in P1 with a 55.4. We got a full house here tonight. 50 drivers on track here at Daytona. Doing our best to actually figure out what's going on here, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have pictures on your broadcast there, Al?
I don't know. Let's take a look.
I don't yet.
I do.
Okay, great.
I do have pictures. It looks pretty good.
Okay, great.
Following Nick Johnson in the Shell livery Porsche. Tonight's race is a 90-minute race. Go ahead.
Yeah, if there's a good driver to follow, I think Nick Johnson should be one of them. Now, we haven't, I haven't personally seen him turn a lot of practice laps. He just popped in here to our official practice session before our qualifying period kicked off here. You know, somewhere around middle of the pack, but you would expect Nick Johnson, a long-time NAGP veteran, to move up the order a little bit, but we'll see. Muted there by chance, Al?
Oh no, I'm not muted. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here.
Fair enough. So, in preparation for tonight's event, as we watch him run around here in qualifying, a couple names to look out for. Now, y'all can excuse the pronunciations. We're going to get that sorted for you here over the course of the next couple of events. But a couple guys to make note of. First of all, Wyatt Gooden. Name you may or may not be familiar with. Wyatt did show some very good practice time, so he was able to hang around the paddock a little bit the last couple days and watch some of those times still direct. Now, Corey Bruin as well, it should be noted, has been turning some very nice times also. Corey Bruin, a guy to watch out here. Roberto Lacroix also turning some very nice laps in practice, and a long time, though not seen recently, Alfonso Rodriguez has been out there turning some very good times in this RUF endurance Porsche as well. So,
Alfonso Rodriguez, Fonz, as he's known on the forums, was a teammate of mine back several seasons ago. I think we drove the Marcos together. He won at, this is a GTR2, I believe he won at Zhuhai. Yeah, he came close to me, one of the two.
Well, that Marcos is a fun car for sure. Got some fun ones out here tonight as well. Now, it should be noted that these cars have got high grade and seem to be a crowd favorite here on the iRacing road circuit championships out there. So a lot of fun, and again, a lot of practice put in by some of these drivers, no doubt, across the iRacing community.
Currently on board with Paul Heap. P2 at qualifying. Got Wyatt Good, just set provisional pole with a 42.5. Paul Heath has fallen back down to 4th. Michael Rohrig, currently P2 with a 43.8.
Yeah, and that Wyatt Gooden time, a pretty good one there with that 42.5. One of the better ones we've seen here in practice or otherwise. I think perhaps that time could be lowered just a little bit.
Well, what I can tell you from spectating here in qualifying, a lot of traffic on track. 50 drivers in the field here tonight.
Yeah, very large event, and certainly that traffic is not going to help. Not also helping necessarily so much is the 15-minute qualifying period. So not a whole lot of time to do your big damage out there and turn in that real fast lap.
Brad, are you watching the broadcast right now?
I have no pictures on my broadcast out.
Okay. Well, that's not good. I mean, I got pictures, I'm just saying. Okay, here we go. I just want to see if we got sound. Sorry, folks. This is a test broadcast the other night. We got a Porsche facing the other way. That's not good. So we're still on board with Michael Rowick. He's fallen back down to P4. Paul Darling currently in P2. Wyatt Gooden maintaining that P1, full second ahead of second place Paul Darling. On board with him as we speak. Paul running a currently 43.5 here in qualifying.
And you mentioned Wyatt Gooden with that full second advantage right now for the provisional pole position, but I find that a little surprising. I don't know if maybe some nerves are coming out here. Most of the times I've seen actually are times that these guys are running for their race pace or even just a little over that. So you got to think that they would gain some time advantage here, taking out some of that fuel that they scored on before the qualifying session. So a little interesting. I don't know if maybe some initial nerves are playing out here. As guys a little shaky starting off here in our first event.
Well, that could be the case, Brad.
I'm going to go about trying to get pictures a different way here.
Currently on board with Paul Darling.
And we have had another 42 posted here by Corey Round. I really hope I'm pronouncing that at least close. Hey, I have pictures now. Look at that. Great.
Wonderful.
So 42.6. Yeah, 42.6 now, and right off that time of Wyatt Gooden. So a guy we mentioned kind of toward the top of the broadcast there. Finally, not making a liar out of anybody. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate that.
We're currently on board with Marco Mogren. Apologize if I'm butchering names here tonight.
Yeah, lap traffic really playing a role out there, Aldo. I think.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm
a little to see sometimes.
Actually, a little bit surprised by that, bro. This is, you know, the long straights, pretty long track, but I've noticed quite a bit of traffic out there. It's kind of surprising these guys wouldn't give themselves a little more space during this qualifying session. I know it's a short time frame, but
well, it actually is a relatively big track at those times, turning around the 1 minute 45 mark, but it doesn't drive necessarily like a pretty big track, and a lot of it has to do with those big ovals, right? Those big oval sections where you do catch quite a bit of a draft. It allows you to catch up to a guy where, you know, perhaps you wouldn't want to. Of course, if you position yourself right, you can put in one whale of a qualifying time if you do time that draft just right.
So Marco through the bus stop now, about to enter what's known as the tri-oval here at Daytona. Let's see if he's able to improve. actually dipped down to 5th. Corey Rowan currently remains in 2nd with a 42.6. That's nothing to be ashamed about. It's a pretty stout time for Corey. Improvement there. Ooh, runs a little too hot going into 1. He goes off. That's not going to help him. So one positive here, Brad, is I managed to install trading paints, and I got everybody's paint scheme in this broadcast. So I'm sure those guys will be happy about that.
Well, thank God for that, Al. For small
exactly.
miracles.
Right. Exactly.
In the meantime, there is another note with Alfonso Rodriguez.
Yep, just picked him up.
Yeah.
It's good to see Alfonso has been doing some work ever since he quit GTR2. I know Alfonso races street bikes. And he has carried that experience onto 4 wheels and into the virtual world here. So he has not lost pace since leaving GTR2. So that's a good sign for Alfonso. Ooh, he was on a qualifying lap there as one of the Porsches goes off. So another example of a little gap. So Kyle Burney, currently P4 with a 43.3, currently in the pit lane.
Yeah, and as time quickly does tick down here, only a couple minutes left to go in this session, we are seeing those times start to get a little tight, and I suspect that we'll see the exact same thing during the race as well. Of course, we mentioned the drafting down the big oval sections of this track. So we can expect a lot of close racing here. I think we're going to have to be a little bit careful. These guys perhaps will have to be careful about a little of attrition affecting the outcome of this race. I think that that could play a role in the eventual outcome.
On board, we're here with Corey LaCroix. I'm sorry, Roberto LaCroix. Ooh. First sector, a little dicey here, but he's about to enter the first part of the oval.
Yeah, Roberto currently slotted provisionally in 10th with a 43.7, and you know what? That's just about on his practice times that he was showing in the official practice before the qualifying session kicked off here. An interesting event here tonight. These guys have put in a lot of work getting ready for this. I know that Scott Myers, of course, has been instrumental in putting all this together, and certainly definitely want to thank him, and no doubt all the drivers do too. But the qualification session has ended, so it looks like Wyatt Gooden will come out on top and start from the pole position, with Corey looking to hunt him down. So only 3 guys in the 42s during that session now. Showing 32 drivers clocked in with the time. As we're going to get ready to move over to the race session here.
I'm still here, Brad. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my... We got a yellow flag. I saw that part. Alright, here we go. Sorry about that. Alright. So it looks like Wyatt Gooden setting that early time with a 42.5. Claims pole. Corey Ruin second with a 42.6. And Alfonso Rodriguez top 3. 42.7.
Yeah, Nick Johnston did make a late bid in that session, so Nick Johnston is going to slot into the 4th position, so very fine run there for him. And so quickly the grid will be set here, and we will be off and running for the first event of this season.
So let's run down the starting order here. Brad Wyatt Gooden going to be starting first, followed by Corey Ruin, Alfonso Rodriguez in 3rd, Nick Johnston 4th, and Kyle Burney in 5th.
Yeah, Marco Mongerin starts 6th, Paul Darling starts 7th, Paul Haig starts 8th, Joshua Daniels starts 9th, Roberto Lacroix starts 10th.
11th, Eric Ench. 12th, Michael Roerick, Jeremy Bryant 13th, Barry Richard 14th, and Vincent Lahibier 15th. Sorry, butcher shop.
Scott Myers starts. Scott Myers starts 16th. Then Darley is the 2nd. Starts 17th. Stefan Werner starts 18th. Charles Huffstetler starts 19th. Air captain.
Eric Estes 21st, 22nd Rob Taylor, 23rd Kenny Duval, 24th Brad Wren, and 25th Milt Minter Jr. We know Milt pretty well.
Sure, of course we do. So James Lamb is going to start behind Milt there in 26th. Adam Green is going to be starting 27th. Ray Nelson will be starting 28th. Daniel Roberts starts 29th. And Guy Pitra starts 30th.
Sorry, Greg, where did you leave off?
I left off at 30th.
Okay, sorry. 31st, Jim Ray. 32nd, Peter Wilson. Franklin Nichols, 33rd. Tim Ryberger, 31st. And 34th, sorry, and 35th, Gerald Livingston.
Doug Tevick and Ralph Kemmerer will be starting in the 36th and 37th positions. So, there you go. Well, we've made it this far out. Only another hour and a half to go. Fortunately, I think some of the action on track is going to help save us a little bit as we finish our pace lap here. Of course, rolling starts here in this RUF World Endurance Challenge. An interesting point structure. So the top 30 finishers of this race are going to be collecting points for this championship. And we do have a number of teams involved here as well, so it'll be interesting to see if some of these teams get together and try to formulate some strategies over the course of not only this race, but the season in general to try to further one driver's position or another amongst the championship leaders. It'll be very interesting to see how this plays out.
All right, we're following now Wyatt Gooden as we're about to, we're waiting for the pace car to roll off. Ford Mustang here at Daytona. Have to go through the bus stop. Long pace lap.
Yeah, you can't advance your position now to drop the green flag. You have to do it before the start-finish line. However, the pace setter cannot slow from the pace that he has established once that pace car pulls off. So a little chaotic out there, it looks to me, Al, as they're forming up here toward the back still.
Haven't been able to get that far back yet. Well, we got a nice view here from the TV view. But it's night race here at Daytona. Full house as we're about to go green. And Wyatt Gooden's away, leading the field into turn 1. So good start by the front three. All right, Gooden, Corey Rowan, and Alfonso Rodriguez leading the way. Johnson has moved his way up to the 3rd position in the opening laps. Alfonso Rodriguez has dipped down to 4th after that start. Corey Rowan now under some heat from Johnston in these opening laps. On board with Nick. That's why Gooden starting to check out a little bit from the guys up front. Already out to about a second, nearly a second lead at the end of the lap 1.
Well, Wyatt Gooden may be pulling away at this point, but I can tell you it's very close to the rest of the field here, as most of these drivers have gotten through very cleanly over the course of this first lap, so they can get settled down now and start getting into some heated action. Now, I can tell you that these tires will take a couple laps to get warmed up. The car is quite a bit more dicey here in the opening laps than they will be here in just a couple more minutes.
Nick Johnson having a look on the outside of Corey. Like he may have the advantage and he gets, looks like he gets it done. Nice job by Nick.
Now Nick Johnson quickly picking up a couple spots in that 2nd starting position.
Well, so we're pretty familiar with Nick. We know he is quick, as is Wyatt, but Wyatt looks like he is checked out from the field. He's got a 1.7-second lead over Nick Johnston. Corey Rowan in 2nd. Marco Magrin currently in 3rd, and Alfonso Rodriguez looks like dropped down to 4th.
Quickly here, now that things, as soon as things start to settle down a little bit, rather than you guys are going to start to try to formulate those strategies and try to keep those strategies in mind. Now, we should be running 2 pit stops here. There's word around the paddock, however, that some drivers may elect to try to keep that same rubber on for 2 stints in a row, 2 fuel stints, but that remains to be seen. But many, a long endurance race here, so a full 90 minutes. Guys will have some strategies in mind to try to advance their position over the course of the event.
Currently on board with Paul Heat, heading into 1. Well, we see, as it looks like a couple, looks like the Porsche of Kyle and Marco Magrin have gone off. Might have been a little bit of contact there. I was just going to say, we see Wyatt's pretty much checked out, but the rest of the field is pretty tight.
Yeah, and a horrible incident there for Kyle and Marco, running 5th and 6th at the time. You know, that is not going to help them here early on. That's the last thing you want to do early in a 90-minute race.
The positive thing for them is still plenty of time to make up some positions. We know those guys are quick, so they should be able to work their way back through the field and get back up into contention.
Yeah, taking a look through timing and scoring, have a couple notables. Scott Myers, you know, is bringing very good times in practice. Didn't get his best qualifying effort, I don't think. Currently finds himself in the 21st position, so looking back a little bit with Scott Myers, James Lamb as well takes very good times in practice. Currently finds himself in the 28th spot.
Back early on board with Jeremy Bryant. Taking a look at some of these other guys further back in the field. If anybody's out there watching tonight, this is a test broadcast of the iRacing RUF World Endurance Challenge here at North American Grand Prix. Brad and I are making our first pass here at broadcasting iRacing, and quite honest with you, it's not an easy task. The interface doesn't allow us to see really much of what's going on. It's kind of guesswork at this point for us, but we're doing our best here. Hopefully you guys enjoy the pictures we're bringing to you here tonight. These Porsches really look nice here at Daytona. Wyatt Gooden leading the field in front of Nick Johnson and Corey Rowan. Following Jeremy Bryant on track. His teammates behind him. Kind of duking it out with a Castrol Porsche and an Eagle Racing team up ahead as well. So,
yeah, no doubt we'll get some technically figured out here, of course, in the next couple of events, but we definitely want to get some pictures up the organization for this league and the upcoming event has been very good. So quite a bit of participation, not only on the forums, but of course out there on track. Currently have one heck of a battle going currently over up to the 8th position, so 8th through 10th now, all within about a half second of each other. And quite a few more positions closing right on them, so for some of the top spots here early, it's quite a pitched battle.
With Stefan Warner, he's got quite the battle himself for that 15th spot. Looks like he's going to get it done. So nice pass from Stefan. Ooh, took it in a little too hot. And gave that position right back. So all that hard work for naught. Talk about that battle for 8th, Josh Daniels, and he's got Jeremy Bryant, Vincent Laherbier, and Michael Roberg. On board with fallen Michael Roberg.
This draft really keeping these groups together as well on these trains, so pretty exciting to watch.
Brad, does it look to you like these cars are picking up much of a draft down the straight, or are they pretty even?
They are. No, they are picking up quite a good 5 to 6 miles per hour that you can gain. Now, once you pull out of that draft, the cars do tend to kind of stop. Oh, as Vincent has had a problem, and he loses it. The bus stop portion there.
Yep, as he's trying to get that thing back on, he does. Yeah, he took it in. It looks like back end of that car turned around on him, but back on it.
Now, I haven't had the opportunity to run a whole bunch of laps in these cars. I have done some reconnaissance laps, and tell you that to me that They do have quite a bit of grip, very good power. However, they can seem a little flighty, and getting that power down wasn't always as consistent as I would have liked. And I suspect that the heat, in fact, is kind of right on the edge. So you do keep everything in order and keep it very clean, and you don't have too much involved. But it's easy to step a little over the line in these cars, I think, and we're seeing a bit of that.
Well, taking a look up front, we got Wyatt Gooden leading 5 seconds over Nick Johnston. So, a great opening round for Wyatt. Actually checked out from the field here. Nick Johnston running in second, trying to reel Wyatt Gooden in. Well, we know how quick Nick is. Obviously, Wyatt's fast, but Nick is no slouch. Nick returned to what we're familiar with, GT3 last Monday. Had kind of a rough start, didn't qualify in our Super Bowl session, but rough start for Nick, but given the nature of his abilities, I don't think I don't think it'll be long before he is. Ooh, as he spins the car going into one. So, well, we talk about the broadcaster's curse in GT3. It looks like it has carried into iRacing, Brad. What do you think about that?
I think that is unfortunate.
And Corey takes it off track. Couple guys go off. Looks like Paul Darling might have been caught up in that. Wow. Paul is slow. He might have a problem. So he has fallen back. Nick Johnston has fallen back to looks like fourth. So stunning turn of events here early on. We got about 1 hour and 18 minutes left to go in this race, Brad.
Yeah, I think Corey there is really kind of focusing on what happened in front of him, not so much on where exactly he was going on track. Perhaps got a little bit out of concentration, thinking that he was going to settle in for third. But in any event now, so some problems up front has led to some beneficiaries behind. So a couple positions picked up from the guy right behind him.
Yeah, it was, that's what it looked like. He kind of seemed like he kind of got caught off guard that Nick made that mistake and took it off in the next corner himself. So I'm following Corey as we speak.
Like an early pit here for Paul Darling. Paul Darling in from the 22nd position. Not sure what that's about. But Paul Darling in.
So the running order right now, Wyatt Gooden remains out front, 8 seconds up on Corey Ruin. Alfonso Rodriguez running third, Nick Johnston fourth. Paul Heath, ooh, he's down on the apron. We got him showing fifth. It looks like he might have lost a couple spots here, Brad. We got Josh Daniels showing up 6th, Jeremy Bryant 7th, Ben Darley, he's running in 8th. Looking further back, Robert LaCroix 9th. How far behind him is Michael Roig, Eric Enge in 11th, Barry Richard running in 12th, Michael Mogren 13th, Vincent Lehebriere, he's running 14th, Scott Myers 15th, thanks Scott. Scott has taken over the duties of running the iRacing League here on Saturday nights from Eduardo Laurenti, who was running it for a little while. Scott doing a great job putting this league together. And really excited, a little overwhelmed by the turnout, and that's great to see. Nothing like getting thrown into the fire there, Scott. You got your work cut out for you, trust me. So looking further back, Stefan Warner, 16th. Charles Hofstetler, he's running 17th. I saw him in Ventrilo earlier. Didn't have a chance to talk to him, but he's on there. Brad Brent running 18th. Eric Estes, 19th. Long time. Eric's been around for quite a while. Part of Eagle Racing. Eric Hafner, currently 20th. Rob Taylor, another familiar name. Brad running 21st. Milt Minter Jr., currently 22nd. We know he's a big fan of the Porsche. Kyle Burney, 23rd. Followed by Adam Green at 24th. I'll be honest with you, I work with a guy named Adam Green, and I hope it's not the same one. 25th, Tim Rydberger. James Lamb running in 26th, Jim Ray 27th. Early on board with Jim. We've got Ray Nelson right behind him, followed by Kenny Duval. Board with Kenny.
Yeah, I copy.
Okay. Just making sure. So James Lamb has dipped down to 26, Jim Ray 27th. Looking further back, Ray Nelson running in 28th, Gerald Livingston, he is currently 29th. Doug Tennant running 30th. Not sure what happened to Tim Rydberger. He's fallen back to 31st. Daniel Robert, he's off the pace. He's fallen back to 32nd. Jim Nichols about to take that spot for him. Yeah, he's going to jump up to 32nd, Jim. So Dan Robert down to 32nd. I'm sorry, 33rd. Guy Pitra, currently 34th. Paul Darling and Peter Wilson, both guys 35th. 2 laps back.
Yeah, so it looks like only one official retirement for this race so far. The battle has really been joined towards the front, though, between Nick Johnson and Alfonso Rodriguez, fighting over for that podium position at the moment. Though early and not too far behind them, Ben Darley and Jeremy Ryan also in quite a battle over the 6th position. So very tight, close racing there.
Those of you joining us on the broadcast, I know we're going to sound like a broken record, but we are testing. This is Brad Merris and Al Merrill doing some iRacing test broadcasts here from Brown.
Yeah, and definitely no excuses, but have not broadcasted iRacing before, so we are having a little trouble getting all of our ducks in a row, as it were, and so trying to get used to and acclimated to the various things that we have to do.
And as you can see, we're not doing it could be better, let's put it that way, right?
It could be better, it will be better. But for now, we got what we got, and fortunately, at least we do have some pictures up there that are running pretty stable. And there are still good battles going on track, and as always, that will tend to save us a little bit.
So like a 10-second gap over Corey and Nick. Just to recap, Nick had gone off a few laps ago in turn 1. Corey proceeded to repay the favor going off in turn 3, but Corey maintains the second position here, doing his best to try and close the gap on Wyatt, who's really, since the drop of the flag, has really put a stamp on this race. Corey has chipped away a little bit. He's knocked a couple seconds off the gap from Wyatt. Heading into the pit stops. Close that gap a little more, Brad. What do you know about pit strategy, if anything?
Well, it looks like it's going to be 2 stops for most of the field. I think it was adjusted accordingly to make sure everybody more or less had to do some 2 stops. I think there is some room for a bit of strategy in there. It was mentioned a little earlier that there's a possibility some guys may try to go for a double stint on those tires, but we'll see about that. Other than that, it should be, I think, a relatively standard procedure for most of these guys. I think it's just a matter of when.
Being it a 90-minute race, I'm sorry, an hour and 30-minute race. Currently, we got about an hour and 8 minutes to go. We're looking at pitch window roughly around the 45-minute mark.
Yeah, a little earlier than that, I would think. Back here in the next 7 or 8 minutes.
Well, we're on board with Alfonso Rodriguez as he's giving Nick Johnson quite a bit of pressure here for that third and final podium position here. I don't know if they talk podiums in iRacing, but that's what he's shooting for.
Yeah, so that battle has remained very tight. Alfonso generally picking up time back on the draft through the long oval sections. Nick Johnson trying to get away, has not quite managed it yet. That gap has actually been a little close with Alfonso having a look here and there. And again, right behind there, battling over the 6th position, Ben Darley and Jeremy Bryant as well in a very close battle. Some of the top positions. Actually, Roberto Lacroix now has joined that battle. So 6th, 7th, and 8th fighting it out tooth and nail.
Another mistake by Nick going into 1. He almost turned the car again. That gave Alfonso Rodriguez an opportunity to really close the gap and have a run at him for that 3rd position. And we talked about Alfonso at the start of this broadcast. He's no slouch. I know personally I raced with him quite a bit. And good guy. Motorcycle races street bikes here in southern Florida. I'm sure he's familiar with this track. So going into this race, he's going to be a contender for that podium position. Let's go back onto the nose cam.
Yeah, now while these two battle, it should be said also that Corey Ruin, has not really pulled out a significant gap himself. So the gap to Nick Johnston, about 5 seconds. As we see now, Alfonso peeling off.
Into the
and
pits.
Taking the first of what? Yeah.
Let's take a first look at pit stops here at iRacing. As Alfonso pulls in, he's on the jacks. Wow, that was pretty quick.
Yeah, you can expect box time around this place to be in the neighborhood of 15 seconds. So he'll get in and out pretty quickly. I don't have a lap time, or rather a pit lane delta for you in and out.
He's down and he's away. Wow, that was a very quick stop. So Alfonso will have to see where he ends up after that stop. Alright, we got the blimp cam. The MetLife blimp cam. As Wyatt Gooden puts somewhat a lap down there as they got off in the bus stop. So Wyatt continues to lead this race by a hefty margin there by 10.7 seconds. Corey Ruin's currently second. Go ahead, Brett.
I was just going to mention the fact real quickly that Corey has not given up too much time to Wyatt Gooden here in the last 4 or 5 laps. That gap has remained very stable around the 10-second mark, so I don't know if Wyatt Gooden is perhaps pacing himself a little bit, or if Corey is just settled down a bit and making good laps. That gap actually just has opened up by another second. But with pit stops coming up and having to get in and out of those pits for service, well, anything can happen, so no doubt those gaps will change. Now it's Roberto Lacroix taking a look at Jeremy Bryant here over the 7th spot. As they head into turn 1, he is going to take that position.
We just picked it up and going back to what that last comment, Brad, I noticed the same thing that Corey was keeping pace, but Wyatt stepped it up a little bit and gave a little bit more time on Corey. Looking at this battle between Robert Lacroix and Ben Darley, we got pit stops cycling through here as Alfonso Rodriguez has pitted, so these guys battling for the 7th position. I'm sorry, 6th.
So those pit stops begin in earnest right about at the 30-minute mark.
So looking up front here, Nick Johnston currently remains second. Josh Daniels has jumped up to 4th. Josh has a lap car ahead of him heading into the bus stop. He gets by without hits. I'm sorry, not the bus stop, turn 1. Josh driving that sharp-looking Castro liveried Porsche. So Josh putting in nice run, as is Roberto Lacroix. Jeremy Bryant now has jumped up to the 6th position. He's got Michael Roberg behind him. Makes me wish I were driving in this race, Brad. A lot of battles going on tonight.
Yeah, there are. And, you know, we're only a half hour into the race yet, so still plenty of action going on out there. And, you know, hard to say how many of these guys have participated participated in longer events. So always important to kind of keep sharp mentally, make sure that you keep that focus. Because don't take one mistake after all to really find yourself out of an event.
Well, that's a good point. This is a 90-minute event, hour and a half. After tonight, the weekly races will be roughly an hour, a couple 90-minute events sprinkled in there throughout the 9-race season. I'm not sure how accustomed these guys are to running these longer races. It can be a little weary on some of these guys. The older vets out there. GT3, we got some seniors running in our leagues. We were like Thursday night, we had a 3-hour race. It could be a challenge for a lot of guys. Some of the younger
challenge to say the least.
Yep, so it's kind of hard to stay focused through a long duration of time. Nonetheless, these guys are doing an admirable job. Barry Richard now running up in the 6th spot. Paul Eve up to 7th. You know, Pitts are cycling through here, so these positions will change.
Yeah, I think a good benchmark will be for Corey Rowan here in the 14th position. He has stopped, of course, coming in running 2nd, about 11 seconds behind Wyatt Gooden when he did come in for that stop.
So this strategy so you're saying 2 stops, so it looks like these guys are going to be doing stops after 30 minutes. That's the window.
You know, I was able to ask around a little bit what some of that strategies might be, and I honestly, I didn't get a lot of responses. Now, it wasn't an open channel, there were quite a few guys in there. Maybe some guys playing a little close to the vest, but it was my impression that most of these drivers would have to make 2 stops.
Some guys have elected to stay out. See guys battling between Paul and gets the job now going into one with nice pass. Wyatt Gooden has remained out. He has yet to pit with a 22-second gap over Nick Johnson, who is now in 2nd. We expect Wyatt to pit in relatively soon. One name I'm a little surprised to not see out here is Ryan Mayfield. So Ryan Mayfield, I believe he was practicing here a couple nights ago. But Ryan not here tonight. Ryan, first-time winner at NAGP on Monday night in GT3. Boy, I didn't know I was after 2 hours. Took home a victory in inclement weather. Great job by Ryan. Gotta congratulate him. His good buddy Wyatt leading the field here. I'm surprised not to see Ryan.
That was an impressive win there at Interlaga. Very sloppy. Basically, Ryan put a smackdown on the field. I don't know, you know, if I'm a driver in that field, I don't know whether to be a little bit of embarrassed or to try to find a good excuse at him. But in any event, very impressive win for Ryan. Congratulations.
Ryan nearly lapping the entire field, but Ryan teamed up with Wyatt Gooden for GT3. We expect Wyatt to be back racing teamed up with Ryan, and that is quite a tandem there in GT3. These guys should expect a bit of a challenge. We got quite a few stout teams out there, and certainly going to give them a challenge. championship in GT3. But meanwhile, we are running iRacing here on Saturday night, and they're running for their own championships here. It's great to see round one coming to you live from Daytona. Wyatt Gooden leading the field.
Yeah, Wyatt Gooden leading this field now. Unfortunately, I'm a little foggy on the time that can be saved with these guys taking a deeper spin. Of course, they have the opportunity to come in a little later and take a short spill for their last stop. Perhaps these guys are thinking, running a little deep here, taking tires on this first stop, and then for their last stop, running a short spill and perhaps double spinning those tires. So the longer they go this spin, the more opportunity that they'll have to save on that fuel and run less time on perhaps some worn rubber toward the end of the spin. So we'll see how that plays out and how the positions may change toward the end of this race.
After stops, Wyatt Gooden leading, Nick Johnson currently second. He's about 23 seconds back. Wyatt picked up a full second on him after a couple laps. So Wyatt's still maintaining that good pace. Jeremy Bryant now up to third. We got a few guys who have pitted. Corey has pitted. He's currently in the 9th position. We've got some traffic up ahead of him.
Yeah, I've been watching that pretty. He does. I've been watching that pretty closely. Now, I can't say for sure if Vincent in front has taken a pit stop. If he has, and it's quite a coup because Corey was well and truly out in front of Vincent before those stops.
Now reached the 53-minute mark. I'm sorry, 53 minutes left to go in this race. Time quickly winding down here at Daytona. Alfonso Rodriguez, who is also pitted, he is about about a second behind Corey. We see Corey up ahead here on the screen.
Yeah, now we know both of those drivers have pitted. Alfonso was quite a ways back from Corey, so Alfonso's gained huge chunks of times there on that pit stop. So really on a charge here for what could virtually be the second place here in this race. Now, depending on where Nick Johnston and how his times are running, that's hard to say exactly where those two might come back together, Alfonso Rodriguez and Nick Johnston.
Take a look at Alfonso Rodriguez. Sponsor is heading into Daytona tonight, trying to secure a sponsor going into the next race here. So the goal here at NAGP is not only to provide a racing community, established we talk a lot about GT3. GT3 is what NAGP was founded on, and Eduardo Rente came to me talking about forming an iRacing league, and a lot of experience doing it. And, he did a great job for the last few seasons, last 3 seasons. Personal matters got in the way. Scott Myers has taken over. So the goal is to not only provide broadcasts for iRacing, because we do it for GT3. Took quite a bit of success. We got quite a large viewership on Monday and Thursday nights, but we'd like to develop the same for iRacing on Saturday nights. Once we work out the bugs here at NAGP, we're going to start advertising the broadcast viewership, and not only viewership but as well as iRacing drivers at NAGP. So kind of have our hands full coming up here in NAGP.
Well, it has been a pretty overwhelming response to get this Saturday ring going, and again, the participation and the interest in it has been very high. So, best of luck to Scott Myers. I'm sure that he has had some help along the way and will continue to get more. But the future looks very bright for this league and this championship.
Corey Wyatt has caught up to Vincent LaHabier. Two names I cannot pronounce, but Corey closing the gap. That's right along with Corey. Be right back, Frank.
Yeah, you got it now. While Al is taking this quick break, we'll remind you that here at NAGP we are running a test broadcast. So we weren't able to get every single one of our ducks in a row in time. We are having a little bit of difficulty with some of the overlays and some of the other things you are used to seeing in your IRacing broadcast. We will work those kinks out. In the meantime, we have what we have, and what we have is a race here at the Daytona road courses. Wyatt Gooden so far has led this event pretty much from flag to flag. He's yet to make his first pit stop here, so some 47 minutes into this event, and you would think that he would be getting pretty light on fuel. It'll be interesting to see if Wyatt Gooden can actually turn this into a one-stop race, but I mean, after all, we have gone 45 minutes into the event, right? So it stands to reason that it would be very likely to happen. And that would be a good deal for him, after all, if he could eliminate one of these stops. Now, quite a few other guys staying out there as well. Positions 1 through 7 all have yet to pit. So, Nick Johnston, about 22 seconds in the rears of Wyatt Gooden at this moment, runs second. Jeremy Bryan is in the 3rd position. Paul Haib is in 4th, and Eric Inge there in 5th. So, Eric, however, already down to the tune of about 1 minute to Wyatt Gooden, again due to that pit stop yet to take place. Keep an eye on that, because certainly Wyatt would want to turn this in. There's no other reason to get off these tires that he's more or less abused by this point for safety's sake and nothing else.
Got about 47 minutes left to go here. Wyatt is yet to pit, I believe. Well, Wyatt looks like he has pitted. Paul Heem now 7 seconds behind Wyatt and exiting the pit lane, so it looks like Wyatt has pitted.
Well, that's good information to have. And if I had lap-to-lap data on my timing and scoring, I could have confirmed that.
That puts Paul Heath out in front of Nick Johnston by the tune of about 5 seconds. It looks like Nick Johnston has also made his pit stop. Watch these guys make their laps. While we watch Nick make his laps, let's take a look at the field as we run them. Vincent LaHabier, Nick Johnston now has taken over that second spot from Paul Heath. So Nick Johnston 11 seconds back of Wyatt. Pit cycle through here. Sorry for the confusion, folks. Working out the glitches. So, Vincent LaHerbiere, he is in third, 20 seconds back of Wyatt, followed by Corey Wyatt. Alfonso Rodriguez in fifth. He's dropped quite a bit of time to Corey. He is about 8 seconds back. Paul Heeb running sixth. Roberto Lacroix, he is seventh. Josh Daniels, eighth. Jeremy Bryant running in ninth. Eric Enge, 10th. Barry Richard, he is in 11th, followed by Michael Rowick in 12th. Let's go to this battle as these guys are nose to tail. For this RUF WEC league has been overwhelming. Let's take a look at the schedule. Daytona, this is where we're at now. Opening night, 90 minutes. January 25th will be a break. February 1st will be the next race coming from Skip Barber Motorsports Park. That's a 60-minute race, followed by February 8th at Circus Zola, one of my personal favorites. Race will be February 22nd from Bathurst, Mount Panorama. March 1st, Brands Hatch. March 15th, Sebring. The 29th, Circuit Zandvoort. April 5th will be Suzuka. The 19th will be the final round, another 90-minute race at Spa. I should mention the 15th is the 90-minute race at Sebring as well. So, wonderful schedule for this series.
Yeah, it really is. I know that I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys got on this track. Now that it seems perhaps I'm a little bit more sorted, I got real confused with who was running where and doing what. But now that the times have sorted, and I think that they're running as they are since what timing and scoring shift, I'm very surprised to see Nick Johnston still within that 10-second mark of Wyatt Gooden. Not sure how it is Vincent LaHerbiere. Oh God. I'm not sure how Vincent.
Feel my pain, Brad. Feel my pain.
Yeah, I'm just so sorry. And we're going to check on everybody's pronunciation to get that sorted. So let's just apologize for that right now. But I am surprised. I'm kind of wondering a little bit how Vincent managed to find the order to where he is now. 10 seconds back of Nick Johnson. So whatever he's doing, maybe they made 2 stops. I don't know because I'm lost. But a very fine run up to Vincent. He was all the way back in the 10th position at one point.
Yeah, he was, and looks like he's already made his stop. So whatever he's done, it's pretty impressive. He is in the 3rd spot as we speak, ahead of Corey Wyatt. Corey just a few tenths back of Vincent, so let's follow this battle for 3rd. Got some lap traffic up ahead of Corey. Corey gets by without issue.
Tell you something else that surprised me a little bit, Alex. We have lapped all the way up to the 15th place now. So Brad Wren, now last car showing on the lead lap. Now again, I'm not sure where everybody is at with pit stops and if that's going to change some. But it's a little surprising to me. After all, we are turning pretty long laps here in the 1:45 range. So I wouldn't have expected to see that quite that many people a lap down at this point.
Certainly not. We got quite a few followers on Twitch. If you're out there, let us know. Let us know how good or how bad we're doing.
No, don't do that.
No, we're not afraid of criticism, Brad. Nothing wrong with some constructive criticism. So 40 minutes to go, about to tick by here. It's funny looking at that gap between Wyatt and Nick Johnson. Wyatt, looks like once Nick closes up a little bit, Nick puts the hammer down and extends that lead about a second. So looks like Wyatt's able to stretch that lead when he needs to. That 10 seconds is close, but still.
Exactly what I was going to mention. There's no question in my mind that Wyatt Gooden is really pedaling it, holding that gap probably wherever he wants it to be. So whatever it is, that's what he wants it to be at the moment, and making sure that he brings the thing home. He rushed out to that lead very quickly, very early, and maintained it.
We actually do have some viewers out there. Promar 93. Good broadcast, guys. So that's good to see. Thanks for tuning in. Trying to run this broadcast a little under the radar tonight, as we're pretty new to iRacing. We don't want to embarrass ourselves that bad.
I'm not going to say it's too late for that, Al. I will say that I'm looking forward to making some improvements. Let me just put it that way.
Absolutely. So taking a look at Nick Johnson, let's take a look further back. Vincent Javier is still running in that third spot. Corey Ruan still a couple tenths behind that Vincent. This is quite a battle for that second spot. Let's jump on board with Corey as he tries to close the gap here and make the move on Vincent. Looks like he might get it done as they enter the first part of this the banking here at Daytona, heading into the bus stop. Let's see if Corey can get a draft off of Vincent. I'm going to hand it to Vincent. He's putting in quite a run here tonight.
Well, he really has, yeah. I think it was an incident he got caught up with early that put him back, but very solid since.
A little surprised. It looks like Vincent might be running a little less wing than Corey, as they were pretty close to the infield section, but Vincent able to pull a gap, and Corey really closing the gap going into one.
Yeah, I think that might be a two-way problem there for Corey, with Vincent running low wing. I think Corey perhaps running a bit extra. There is quite a bit of draft generated from these cars, and so to lose that much ground on the straight, I think is indicative of the type of aero setting motion that he's running.
So as you see Corey really tightening up on Vincent through the infield, but Vincent able to exit his final corner before the first straight, and really nice through there. And wow, does he ever power away from Corey down the straight?
Yeah, these setups, these cars are pretty responsive to setup, and I tell you, that is a very tricky corner to get off of with the bumps in there. The guys that are able to, the guys that are out front have really figured out, I think, how to maximize acceleration coming off that corner over those bumps.
Corey closes up a little bit going into the bus stop. Let's see how the exit is here. Corey can close up.
Yeah, here's utilizing that draft pretty well. It certainly is helping him out, so I think you're right. I think the problem really for Corey at the moment is being able to get the power down coming off.
It Looks like Corey may have a run into one as Vincent dives into the pits. So with 35 minutes to go, Vincent into the pit lane. Corey Ruin moves into third.
Yeah, so there won't be much confusion on Vincent going forward. We know that he will have made his final stop.
So we'll have to take a look and see where Vincent rejoins. His pit stops are relatively quick here. He is off the jacks. See where Vincent rejoins. He's away. So that moves Corey into the third position. While he should move up to fourth, and Alfonso Rodriguez, who move up to fifth, was battling for that final podium position, has faded here in this second half of this race.
Yeah, it really spawned a lot of my confusion on the first set of pit stops. So I think I neglected to see a problem that Alfonso had out there.
So approaches the start finish line to give us an idea where everybody is. Ooh, it looks like Alfonso pitting in as well. Alfonso in for his final stop. Pits in from fifth. Josh Daniels will take over that spot. Marty Uren checking into the broadcast. Senior statesman, happy birthday, Marty. I know you just celebrated a birthday. Congratulations.
Vincent has exited to the 10th position now, running on track. Right in front of Barry Richards, I see, has not made his stop. So, in the 11th spot for Barry Richards.
Take a look further down. It looks like Robert Lacroix. We'll see where Alfonso rejoins here. My goodness. Maintaining that 10-second lead over Nick Johnston. Corey Ruin 24 seconds back. Paul Heath 37 seconds back. Alfonso Rodriguez exits out in what should be fifth position. A little bit of clarification on that. Scott Myers, not where we want to see him, checking into the broadcast. Let us know what happened, Scott. As a matter of fact, let's bring Scott into the broadcast. Scott, what happened to you?
Oh, I'll tell you, we were on our last lap, me and my teammate. We were about to pit, and he accidentally dumped me into the corner.
Oh, no.
So, Scott, we were talking about earlier, you taking over this, the lead from Eduardo while he's attending to some personal things. Or you want to obviously thank you for taking this task up. It's certainly not easy. There's a lot of work that goes into it. We really appreciate it. But you've done a great job. We got a great field here tonight, and some great racing. Although it's hard for us, we're doing our best to figure out what's going on here up at the front and throughout the field. But yeah, we're just great job setting this up. Ooh, as Alfonso gets into the back of, it looks like one of the back markers here. Alfonso back in 14th, a lap down. So he, well, it looks like it's universal. Alfonso waits for that driver to get back on track, and he joins behind him. So nice, good sportsmanship there from Alfonso. But Scott, getting back to you, yeah, great job with this, setting up this league, and with especially great turnout. It's great to see.
Oh yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of work, but obviously we got a bunch of good racers. I'm sure you could see the start. It was just as good as it could be with that kind of a field. So obviously we were all happy with the start here tonight. And yeah, Eduardo started this thing, and you know, ran 3 great seasons. If he's busy, that's great. You know, he started a great thing here. So we'll continue what we can.
Well, it has been a great start to the season. I certainly look forward to ironing out some of our kinks on the broadcast end and get to the rest of these races. It looks like it's going to be a pretty fantastic season shaping up. I think maybe we dodged a little bit of a bullet with the amount of attendees here that happened to show up tonight. But we should expect pretty good fields going forward the rest of the way, don't you think?
Yeah, I do, and I would imagine, you know, I know we had four or five guys who couldn't attend who were on the sign-up, but if we only had 30, I don't know what the full attendance was, maybe 35 out of 50. And yeah, we did dodge a bullet. We thought we'd have to shut some guys out, but I think you got a good core group here that'll be returning. We've got 10 or 11 teams, so that'll keep most of what you see on track here for the season. So looking forward to it.
Real quickly on the race, Nick Johnson has closed the gap to about 8 seconds. So Nick putting in some solid laps here, and Scott, while you're here, hopefully you can stick with us till the close here. We got about 27 minutes left to go. Can you fill us in on the pit strategies here? With Brad and myself, you know, we're obviously veteran GT3 runners, and racing is pretty new to us. But what is the in terms of pit strategy for a 90-minute race, what are these guys looking at for stops? I mean, we see some of these guys pulling in a couple times, but what is the pit window for these guys?
What we did was an 80% fuel load out of a possible 100%. What that does, it puts your max time on track somewhere around 40 minutes, and that's almost absolute end of that. So you're going to have 2 stops in this car in a 90-minute race. After that, you know, you can run 3 even stints and keep that car light. This car loves to run light. It's a very quick light. Or you can run 2 fuel loads and get a splash at the end, maybe skip tires. Those are pretty much your 2 options that you might be watching for.
As we ride on board with Vincent Lapierre, do you know how to pronounce his name? Because I'm butchering it every time I try it.
I haven't tried. I think that sounds great, but we'll ask him.
Alright, well, as he's trying to reel in Eric Enge here for that 7th position. Now, is that the configuration for the 60-minute races as well? You're looking at 1 stop for 60, 2 stops for 90?
Yeah, that's right. It's the same 80% for each race. So that puts the pit window in there. So it's pretty much a 4 stop. In iRacing, you can do a fuel mapping, and if you're going to turn that fuel map to option 2. You're going to end up about 3 seconds slow on a big fast track like this, so we don't expect to see that too often.
So when these guys stop, we notice they're pretty quick pit stops, we see the guys going up on the jacks. Are they taking tires as well? Is there an option to double stint? Does that make your stop quicker?
Almost no, because of the amount of fuel you're going to need. You can get tires and they start fueling. If that gives you any kind of a clue, and maybe anybody else watching the broadcast. Yeah, you're going to get some fuel started even while they're changing tires. But it's not really going to save you much to skip tires unless you're running that real short stint.
So Vincent, as we see him here heading into the first part of the banking here, approaching the bus stop, trying to get a run on Eric Enge. Looks like he's closing up on him again. Good entry here into the bus stop, getting a good exit, and possibly get in tight behind Eric, and possibly use the draft going into one. How effective is the draft here at Daytona, Scott?
If you are evenly matched with the driver, if you're pretty close on lap times, you're going to swap at the bus stop and then again in turn one. And that's if you're a dead match with somebody. So you're going to have to figure out how to get a better exit and get out of that draft to escape that, or if you're the car behind, you're going to try and stick with it. But it doesn't completely drop you off when you get out of it into turn one, but it's significant enough that you'll see a lot of swap positions between the bus stop and turn one.
Vincent gets it done, but immediately gives it back in turn two. Wow. And at the same time gives it up to his teammate Josh Bryant. Wow. So Vincent Lahabiere, as Josh Bryant takes a look on the inside of Eric Enge. So we got a great battle here for that sixth position. Eric Enge continues to hang on to it, but the two teammates, Bryant and Lahabiere, trying to work their way by Eric Enge. It looks like Bryant's going to get it done going into the bus stop. Some good battles going on here. Vincent tucks in behind his teammate. Work together here to get by. Ooh, Eric Enge goes off. Brian able to hang on to it, kind of cut the inside, the entry. Oh, he's going to slow up. He lets his teammate by. And is away. So, Scott, what is the cut tracks? Do these guys have to slow down if they cut, or how does that work? Some of our new viewers out there, we got some new guys watching the Twitch broadcast here tonight. So, what's the rule with the cuts there?
Yeah, if, whatever the track configuration is, there's a set standard for how far you can go, and these guys know where it's at, in practice. But if you end up with that cut track warning, you have to serve that cut track, which means you just need to slow up and give the time back. So you're forced down to the bottom of the track until you're given the go-ahead. If you don't slow up, you'll get a black flag, and you'll have to stop for, I believe it's 16 seconds in the pits, but obviously it'll cost you more than that.
Yeah, now I had the opportunity to do some recon laps with RUF cars, Scott, and a lot of fun, very enjoyable to drive, but I didn't run a stint long enough to really get an idea of how these tires wear, how the car characteristics change on those worn tires. What was your experience with it?
Well, increasingly, your exits become more and more tedious to keep from looping that thing. Because of a little bit of extra rear wear, but also because of where the fuel tank's located in this car. That front end's going to get lighter and lighter, so it's going to be a little more timid on the exits as your stint goes along. So that's what you're going to try and build your setup to counteract.
With Barry Richard currently in 6th. Pass on a lap car.
And Brad, there is plenty of tire for a stint here. Probably not enough tire for 2 full stints. You're just going to end up very slow. Middle of the second stint.
I see. And so, what kind of expectations do you have of the lap-to-lap difference, fresh tires to worn tires? Around about 2 seconds, perhaps?
Yeah, I don't see, and maybe it's the setup I build, my teammates and I only see slower lap times in the first few laps when you're on a full load of fuel. The tire wear and the lightening of the fuel balances enough that really the car, if you just get it in rhythm, you'll take a little bit, just a hair off your lap time every lap.
So Scott, why don't you, if you can, fill the viewers in on, well, we ran down the season schedule, but fill the viewers in on, if you can, on the points breakdown for this upcoming iRacing season coming up, which not coming up, obviously we've started, but obviously the prizes for the drivers and what you guys are rewarding points on. I know there's a gentlemanly prize that Eduardo started. Is that continuing?
Yeah, absolutely. We've also added a bonus point for the cleanest racer in each race. So there is a gentleman's cup for the driver with the cleanest racing throughout the season, but just like there's an extra bonus point for pole position, we thought that was fair. But we've also added a bonus point for the cleanest racer of each particular race. And our points pay out all the way to 30th position. The drivers have to finish 50% of the laps in any given race to score. But for team points, getting back out there on track is crucial.
So incentive for competing for participation in laps. Good to see.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
And I tried to get back out there myself. The pit crew wouldn't repair a left front fender and a little bit of suspension damage. Otherwise, I'd have been out there. I'd have been unsafe. But didn't get and won't get my 50%.
So follow Wyatt with a now 50-second gap over Nick Johnson. So Nick Johnson has come into the pits. So we expect Wyatt to pit in relatively soon here.
Yeah, certainly hasn't yet, and time is quickly ticking down here. It's only about 10 minutes left to go in this race. Now, Nick Johnson has closed within about 7.5 seconds of that leader, Wyatt Gooden. However, fell off to about 15 seconds right before that stop.
Scott obviously knows Wyatt's resume. We know his background. First we heard of him, he entered GT3 last season in our Monday GT2 league, and immediately went on to win his first ever, the first person to ever join and win his first race in GT2 or GT1 for that matter. And since then has had quite a bit of success for in GT2. We know he's well known in iRacing. How does it? How is it for the league in general to have him participating in NAGP's RUF championship?
Well, obviously it's good to have him. One thing he and a group of guys also have done, and we'll have to ask if this applies to this race if he wins it. But he and a bunch of other iRacers have gotten together a group where they donate to a particular charity. They do a pledge. Anytime they win a race, they give a certain level, a $5 or $10 or $15 pledge. So these guys race and win, and then they take that and they've made something else with it. So we'll have to see if that also applies to his pledge, him winning here at NAGP after the race, huh?
So we'll have to get some more detail on that. Let it be known that that's the case. Certainly we'll publicize that and raise awareness to whatever he's donating to.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's obviously good to race with guys like him, and there's a lot of talents out there. So we've had a good time racing with guys like him. You obviously learn a lot when you get on track with somebody like that, you know.
So Nick Johnson's gap now 52 seconds behind Wyatt. We expect Wyatt to pit relatively shortly. The field is lapped up to the 6th position. Nick Johnson running in 2nd, Corey Ruin 3rd, Vincent LaJavier 4th, Barry Richard 5th, and Jeremy Bryant currently 6th. Those are the 6 cars on the lead lap.
I've been wrong enough here tonight, Al, that I don't mind making another mistake. And with the thing that Scott mentioned in the engine matches, I think Wyatt Gooden has turned off that motor. And I don't think that I think he has only made one stop. I'm not sure I was confused about that. I think he is going to make this race one stop, and his speed has simply been enough to be able to turn that engine matter down. Now, I'm surprised he didn't pull into the pits right then and there to prove me wrong. He didn't this time. But I think that is what's going on now.
There's a gap now that's put Jeremy Bryant a lap down now, so he's lapped up to the 5th position.
Yeah, it will be some magic if he can make it. Did know that his strategy was to go with a full tank and load it up again and see where it got him. And I do know he can change that engine map in car.
Yeah, good information to have. Well, it looks to me, at any rate, as though he is going to try it. We know Nick Johnson has completed his 2nd stop, but that also was a late stop. Of course, that put him some 50 seconds in arrears. So we'll see as the laps wind down, but it's not going to take too many more to have confirmation on exactly what is going on.
Yep.
Let's take a look at the running order. Nick Johnson 2nd, 52 seconds back, followed by Corey Ruin, minute 23 back. Vincent LaJavier currently 4th. Is the final car now on the lead lap. Barry Richard running in 5th. Jeremy Bryant not far behind him in 6th. Josh Daniels running 7th. Eric Enge in 8th, followed by Alfonso Rodriguez in 9th. A little surprised to see Alfonso that far back after such a great start tonight. Brad Wren in 10th. Michael Roig running 11th. Eric Estes in 12th. James Lamb currently 13th. Kenny Duval is in 14th. Charles Huffstetler, he is in 15th. Milt Minter Jr., he is in 16th. We talked about him earlier, Brad. We know he loves his Porsches. And he's pretty handy with them on track, running in the 15th position. Ray Nelson 17th, Adam Green 18th, part of the Eagle Racing team. Darrell Livingston, he is 19th. Daniel Robert back in 20th. Followed by Paul Darling in 21st. Doug Trevick, 22nd. Guy Petra in 23rd. Jim Ray, 24th. Paul Heed, 25th. Robert Lacroix, 26th in the pit lane. Eric Hafner, 27th. Wyatt Gooden into the pit lane. Stephen Warner, 28th. Tim Ryberger is in 29th. Franklin Nichols is 30th. Rob Taylor is out, 25 laps back. 32nd. Ben Darley. Scott Myers, also 26 laps back. He is out, obviously. He's in here with us. Marco Mogren, Kyle Burney, and then Peter Wilson out.
Yeah, quite a list you had there.
So Wyatt Gooden is away. He's got a little traffic ahead of him on the exit of pit lane. I don't think that will be a factor, however. Gets away without issue with 8 minutes, under 9 minutes to go here, 8:50 to be exact. So Nick Johnston, who is in second, is now 50, on timing for us, 56 seconds back, Corey Wood in third, 124 back.
Yeah, those gaps will come down a bit. Just how much we'll have to see in any event. Mike didn't even pull out time on Nick Johnston after that. After Nick Johnston had stopped, it appears to be. Couldn't have been in tremendous fuel-saving mode.
Taylor has checked into the broadcast. Looks like he is out. So one thing to make note is the lap traffic doing a great job letting these front runners by. Would you say it's a little easier here in iRacing, Scott, than it is in other sims? Deal with lap traffic?
I don't think it's any different. I think we we go by a blue flag rule that's informational. It tells the guy he's about to be run up by a lapped car, and they're to make every effort that they can to pass, or to help pass, and the passing car, it's his responsibility to make it clean. It's the same kind of roll of the dice. It's going to be lucky for some and unlucky for others, depending on who you run up on. I wouldn't say it's any different.
So after that stop, Wyatt has now a 27-second gap over Nick Johnston in third, and a minute 49 seconds over Corey Wood. Josh Daniels has gotten his lap back. So I wonder how Corey would have been able to threaten Nick for that second spot had it not been for that mistake. I know he got caught up in an incident earlier on in this race, but he's buckled down after that incident, Brad. Pretty solid races there.
Yeah, I think that Nick Johnston had not had the opportunity to do a lot of practice in this race. In fact, when he first joined the server in the official practice, looking at some of the lap times dramatically improve over the course of that session. I think perhaps some of his first laps were in that practice session. So Nick Johnston, as he runs more laps here, I don't know that Corey would have had too much for him given the relative gap at this point in time. But yeah, certainly it's better to be out front in terms of that type of stuff, be able to control the pace of the guy behind you a little bit better. But in any event, it has been a fine run for Corey, and it's good to see because he was showing some very good speed over the course of the week of practice. So Very notable name, and Vincent as well. Now, a little more surprising to me. I did get the opportunity to watch a whole lot of practice coming into this event, but hadn't had the chance to Vincent around too much. So, two fantastic runs for those guys. It's going to give them a lot of confidence going forward, no doubt.
Vincent currently in 4th, pretty much on his own as we run. Josh Daniels in 5th, so another strong showing tonight is Josh. Vincent, but Josh as well, putting a solid run in 5th.
And now Corey is, I'm sorry to interrupt, Corey puts his seat time in. That shows. He's one of those guys who has a lot of time to do it, and he does that. So that shows on race day.
Boy, it sure makes a difference.
So we got another 5 minutes to go in this race. Wyatt Gooden leading by 28 seconds over Nick Johnston. So a dominating performance tonight so far for Wyatt. We still obviously have some time left to go in this race, but looks like he is going to come away with the victory here tonight. Stand the way they are. Great start for Wyatt after round 1 in this RUF championship here at NAGP.
Yes, it is looking favorable for Wyatt Gooden. It's interesting that my elapsed time would show at 1 hour and 32 minutes, and yours to show something different, but maybe that's something on my end.
No, that is, you get 90 minutes past the pace lap, so you're clocking the pace lap included, Brett.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, and I don't even know where to find the proper, when I pull it up, I see the same thing. I'm always 3 minutes out. Somebody knows. Apparently Al has it, right?
Yeah, you know what?
Yes.
I have the overlay up and running, but it's just not showing on the broadcast. So.
Oh wow, that's why you can see the gaps and all that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, something that can be worked on if we can get it going. We can. If not, this is fine.
I have
we can't get it going.
I talked to my wife. I have a technology budget, and I need to factor in getting this overlay working into my technology budget. So it's a good excuse for me to spend some cash on some peripherals.
A little window into Al's personal life.
Exactly. So following Nick Johnston, who is 28 seconds off. Corey Wu in 3rd. Vincent LaHabier is currently 4th, and Josh Daniels, the final car on the lead lap, in 5th. Josh Bryant got a pretty hefty lead. He's a lap back over Barry Richard. Eric Enge in 8th. Alfonso Rodriguez running in 9th. Michael Roig in 10th. Brad Wren in 11th. Eric Estes in 12th. Kenny Duval 13th. Milt Minter Jr. 14th. Adam Green 15th. James Lamb running back in 16th. Gerald Livingston in 17th. Ray Nelson 18th. Paul Darling. Ooh, Paul just got spun. Robert Duvall. I'm sorry. Daniel Robert in 20th. Doug Tevick 21st, Guy Petra 22nd, Charles Huffstetler 23rd, Jim Ray 24th, Paul Heath 25th, Eric After on the apron, he's in 26th, 7th laps back. Tim Ryberg is still running his 27 laps back as Wyatt Gooden. The time winding down here. About to take the inaugural round of this RUF championship. He's got nobody ahead or behind him, no pressure on him, just take it home for the win. Stop for the last time. Wyatt Gooden to take your win here at Daytona. Dominating performance, so congratulations to Wyatt. Nick Johnston going through the bus stop. He should finish in second. Strong showing for Nick. Much better than his performance there on Monday night for sure. So good to see.
Yeah, and it
Nick.
is pretty.
Go ahead.
It is pretty staggering the amount of time Wyatt Gooden was eventually to pull out on the rest of this field. So if these guys expect to garner a lot of points and have a hope in this championship, they're going to have to figure Wyatt Gooden out, I think, and make sure that they put in the laps to try to stay at least close to it. So great performance by Wyatt.
Corey will finish in third. Final step on the podium. Great showing here for Corey. Vincent Lahabir. Apologize to Vincent, we've been butchering his name all night. But he is going to take fourth at the completion of this lap. And finally, Josh Daniels. Final car on the lead lap here at Daytona. Approaches the start-finish line, he's going to take the final top 5th position here at Daytona. So great job by Josh, and you know what? Congratulations, Scott. Great start to this season. You gotta be pretty proud of yourself to get such a great showing here for the first round of this RUF championship. Pretty excited.
I'm proud of the start we had and the guys we have racing. They're all a bunch of great racers, and you know, they can all, pretty much everybody in the entire field can race close and hard and safe, and still race hard. So we got a lot of great guys. Everybody has fun, and yeah, obviously we appreciate you hosting us here too. You know, expanding the Saturday NAGP thing into something different. You know, these guys are eating it up.
I hope to.
Well, we sure appreciate you.
Yeah, go ahead, Brett.
Sure appreciate you having us out, Scott, and we look forward to growing the broadcast and the races with you along the way.
And in addition to that, we're hoping to improve on these broadcasts as best we can. And total time of the race tonight, hour 30 minutes 57 seconds. Wyatt Gooden takes a win. Nick Johnston second. Corey Ruwen takes third, the final podium position. So I just want to thank everybody. I know there's a few guys who tuned in tonight who follow us on Twitch, and this was mostly a kind of a test broadcast for us to see how it goes, and certainly going to work on improving the broadcast and getting that overlay set up so everybody can see what's going on track. But we wanted to get it going here just to give the guys who are actually running something to much, and thanks for everybody who tuned in and sticking through it while we work through these little inexperiences for us. So, and again, congratulations. I want to thank Scott personally, and congratulations to him for such a great start to his iRacing Saturday Night NAGP Series, the RUF Championship. So thanks, Scott, and thank you, Brad, obviously, for helping me out here tonight. Really appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, Al.
Yep, and real quick, congrats on the podium, obviously, and on the start. That was professional, and everybody on track appreciates it. So good job, guys.
So Scott, real quick, where we're going to be next week, or the next race, I should say. We got an off week, I think, next week.
Yeah, I believe we're going to Barber Motorsports Park, so that'll be unique to racing. We haven't done that yet in this series in 4 seasons, so that's going to be a tight, windy, loopy, hilly track for this car, so we'll be hopping around there. That'll be a blast.
So that'll be 2 weeks from tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Alright, so guys, if join us 2 weeks from tonight for some more of this RUF Championship here from Barber in 2 weeks. So pretty excited to bring that to you guys. Hopefully we can get this better presentation for you guys in a couple weeks. So until then, thanks Scott, and thanks Brad for helping out, and congratulations to Wyatt, Nick, and Corey for a great job. Great race tonight, and 1, 2, and 3 on the podium. So till then, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Thanks.